Close your eyes. Listen to the sound of my voice. Can you hear the sounds of nature? How about the rippling flow of the water beating down a majestic waterfall? Open your eyes. And let me guess, you pictured that fall as being the Great Duns River Falls, didn't you? We all know sound plays a vital role in how we interpret and understand the world around us. And it gets even more interesting and meaningful when we add visuals. Today is World Television Day. The electronic television was first successfully demonstrated in San Francisco on September 7, 1927 by Philo Taylor Farnsworth, a 21-year-old designer-inventor. I'm Adrian Atkinson, and you're inside Jamaica Magazine. Please stay with us.
Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. Mosquitoes will breed in any container that holds water.
Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, barrels, buckets and tanks. If this cannot be done, pour cooking oil on the water surface. Punch holes in all tins, plastics and beverage boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover all tires or fill with dirt to prevent water collection. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs. Use mosquito repellents to protect yourself from mosquito bites. Dispose of garbage properly by placing in plastic bags and securing properly to prevent water collection.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, November 21, 2023. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the Caribbean region welcomes the strengthening of the relationship with Saudi Arabia. Mr. Holness was in that country last week, where he addressed the inaugural Saudi Arabia CARICOM summit. The Prime Minister asserts that trade and investment is one of the most sustainable avenues through which the region achieves growth and development, and a strategic way of increasing wealth without accumulating significant debt.
As we go forward in strengthening our relationship, that investment and trade should be the key strategic direction. The region has great potential for the exploitation of renewable energy, and therefore Jamaica in particular would be willing to explore investments in this regard.
Prime Minister Holness insists that the region has put strong measures in place to safeguard investments.
If we are to focus on investment as the strategic direction for development, our investors can rest assured that the entire region has made commitments for strengthening and deepening our institutional frameworks to protect investment.
The municipal corporations across the island are conducting assessments within parishes following torrential rains from a trough last week. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie made the announcement during a tour of East Rural St. Andrew on the weekend. Officials from the Office of the Prime Minister, National Works Agency, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Jamaica Fire Brigade and National Water Commission were part of the tour. Minister McKenzie says several parishes, including St. Catherine, St. Thomas and Clarendon, have reported extensive damage.
The municipal corporations right across the country is presently doing an assessment. They are working in tandem with the National Works Agency to come up with a clear picture of what have taken place over the last 2 days.
The local government minister says an extensive report on the damage is being done. Meanwhile, farmers in St. Thomas are being commended for their spirit of resilience in the aftermath of the recent heavy rains. Prime Minister Andrew Holness met with farmers during a tour of flood-damaged areas of the parish on the weekend. They provided first-hand account of the effect on their livelihoods.
I have not heard one farmer who say I'm giving up.
they're saying we're going again. And I want to commend that spirit and encourage them.
St. Thomas is one of the parishes severely impacted with damage to roads, crops and houses from flooding and landslides. Persons wishing to do business with the government no longer have to wait 8 weeks to make their submissions. The Public Procurement Commission has reduced the timeline for submissions to 2 weeks. In making the announcement, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke says contractors can no longer use the long procurement process as an excuse. He adds that deficiencies in the system are also being addressed.
The procurement modality, the procurement institution is moving online to an electronic format which provides an audit trail. You can tell when the procurement submission came in and you can tell when the procurement submission was approved.
According to Dr. Clarke, contractors will now be able to interact with the procurement notice through the Government of Jamaica's electronic portal. The Finance Minister believes this will change the manual way in which procurements are being done.
It's a most powerful tool that connects the government with businesses in a way that offers opportunity to increase transactional efficiency. It allows opportunity to improve the ease of doing business, and it allows the government to manage in one system tender calls, bid submissions, bid evaluations, to manage the award of contracts, to manage the performance, as we're going to get into later, and also to produce business intelligence reports.
Dr. Clarke was speaking at the recent Contractor and Consultant Performance Evaluation Program (CPEP) launch ceremony. And finally, the government is strengthening cooperation and coordination in the use of innovation and digital technology to fight fisheries crime. This is being done through the Blue Justice Caribbean Hub, the latest strategy by the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism and its member states to reduce transnational organized crime in the fisheries sector, as well as illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, says the ocean is integral to the country's economic growth and development and the well-being of Jamaicans. He was addressing the launch recently, which signaled Jamaica as the regional hub.
Indeed, the country's key economic drivers are dependent on a healthy ocean. These include tourism, fisheries, shipping, and logistics services. We will continue to work with the National Fisheries Authority to ensure that we meet our protection targets.
As a small island developing state, Minister Samuda says Jamaica needs to shift its mindset to think of itself as a large and powerful ocean state.
I believe initiatives such as this, backed with the appropriate investments into the capacity of the National Fisheries Authority, into the JDF through its maritime operations, and of course into the JCF through its maritime operations, strengthen the potential, the trajectory for Jamaica to truly establish itself, not just as a country with an EEZ 24 times its size, but as that powerful ocean state.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Teaching is learn by doing. So students don't learn by you telling them what to do, but they actually are able to use that hands-on approach to learn about what it is that they're doing. So for example, we're teaching about light, and we talk about what is light, so you give them a little bit of a background, you find out what they know as well, and then you are now actually creating something. You're making a model. You're using art, you're using science, you're using technology. So you're able to integrate these different disciplines so that students can walk away with the different process skills. In order for them to create, they have to go through a process. They have to think, they have to problem solve. And that is how you get the critical thinking skills and the creativity coming out, these 21st century skills. That is how they're able to actually do it.
crafted meticulously to reflect the talents of the Jamaican people and their culture. Jamaican theatre has served many years, providing a belly full of laughter.
Just before independence, with the great expectations of what was to come, that excitement would have informed the context within which we thought that it was now okay to put ourselves in art, whether it is music, dance, drama, painting.
It's all better. When you see an artist on the stage, from the way he's dressed, to the movement on the stage, the way the lights were, and everything, it's all better.
The infectious nationalist movement of the 60s was clearly shaping several areas of the country's cultural landscape. But further to this new movement was the rise of a grand theatrical legacy that underpins the emergence of some of the most impactful writers, directors, performers, and theatre groups in the country. The 1960s made an urgent call for decolonization. There was the development of Afro-Jamaican forms of theatre, mostly because of the works of pioneers such as Louise Bennett Coverley and Rani Williams.
One of the things that comes to my mind as I think about the transition is something which the Honorable Louise Bennett Coverley once wrote about the pantomime. That the pantomime was grand, the pantomime was bright, and how much she enjoyed it, but nearly everybody white. And so if we have that as a pre-independence context in which we operate, then we would be able to see more clearly how the meaning of independence, that we are now in control and we can represent ourselves to ourselves as we see ourselves in theatre, would have impacted what we created.
On the eve of the country's independence in 1961, the Little Theatre opened its doors. That period too saw the emergence of the Barn Theatre, the island's first professional theatre company. It began capturing the optimism of young Jamaicans who were eager to move away from European ideals.
Independence signaled for Jamaica a great opportunity for us to shape our own national identity and to define who we were as a people. And so I feel like theatre at that time would have evolved from the influences of European theatre and would be a little bit more reflective of our own definitions of who we are and the things that were happening in our society.
At the turn of a new decade came the rapid rise of Caribbean expression, and Jamaican theatre was now at its peak. The Jamaican School of Drama emerged. The 70s later gave rise to the Montego Bay theatre movement. Of note too was the staging of the 1976 Caribbean Festival and Arts, CarFesta, under the leadership of Wycliffe Bennett. And then, emerging later, was Jamaican Roots Theatre.
Oh, hello. Pretty?
Dread.
By opening up the arts and to the great mass of people, it means that everybody is now putting on plays and taking part in plays.
Roots Theatre was using slapstick comedy to comment on current issues and focus the working class as the real heroes of society. There was also the rise of activist theatre, with new theatrical groups, such as the Sistering Theatre Collective.
And that occasioned another shift about who we believe can be on stage and what kind of stories they have to tell. That opened a new window for women in theatre.
The 80s continued reflecting the vibrancy of Jamaican drama. The Little Theatre movement's 1981 Panther, Pirate Princess, made it all the way to London, showing at the Hackney Empire Theatre. The 80s also welcomed the newly established pantomime company with its first production, Trash.
I think was also born in that period of time that we realized that theatre isn't about you kin your teeth and that's it, as much as we learn for take kin teeth, keep a heart bun. But theatre is a very important arena of education.
So your face looks so sour. Woman, I feel so sour that if you put me beside a glass of sugar and water, it bound to turn lemonade.
The 90s heralded a new era for theatre. Jambiz International was formed, with many of its productions focusing on humorous entertainment.
There's no K in certificate.
This period was also marked by the staging of Theatre Fest, a festival of 4 plays. Much of the Jamaican theatre of the 1990s has spilled over into the 2000s and remains a commentary on social issues.
A lot of what I see coming out of theatre in this moment is relationships. And this is why I say it's a reflection of society. Because coming out of COVID-19, a lot of what the society has been anchored on is relationships. How have families come together to survive? How have organizations learned to depend on employers? What is the employee-employee relationship?
And Nancy pick up him.
Today, storytelling as a genre of theatre is becoming increasingly important, especially through organizations like Entukuma, popularized largely through the works of Louise Bennett.
Right planting going. Who? Long live Louise Bennett. Long live Charles Hyatt. Long live Ranny Williams. And many others. They have certainly opened that door. A, because them they talk so, and B, because they did us the favor, the honor of recording our stories for us.
I love waking up every day in this country. This is where I was born and raised. I have such a passion for my country, and for me this is home. In Jamaica, a lot of people, they look at just like beach, sea, sand, but our mountains are something to behold. It's majestic up there, and it's a different type of peace. It's a different type of lifestyle completely. I could mention many different places that are amazing, but the one thing I do love about Jamaica as well is that you can find that relaxation, you can find that chill in your backyard. Apart from it being an incredibly beautiful country, an incredibly beautiful island, we have a wonderful, wonderful culture, wonderful, vibrant, colorful people. There is definitely a realness to Jamaica. There's definitely something that no matter what keeps you in touch with reality here. Why come to Jamaica? It all comes back down to Jamaica as a whole. The food, the music, the culture, the people, the climate. Come out and meet us, come out and experience what Jamaica has to offer.
Children get bored easily. As a parent or guardian, what are you doing to ensure your child reaches his or her full potential? Invest in their education and their future by enrolling them in STEAM education. Not sure where to start? This upcoming feature will provide some insight.
Let's go full steam ahead!
If you have the opportunity to get a STEM education, then you should, regardless of the field or the career choice. So even if you want to be a lawyer, the skills are transferable. So you still need to be a problem solver. You still need to be able to think critically. Employers are looking for graduates with STEM skills, with these 21st century skills.
Teaching future generations to think logically, critically, and focused on problem solving, all while grasping 21st century skills, is a challenge of a lifetime.
And the right policy to be put in place is to make sure that we are building schools that are going to be empowering our young people with science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
And of course, arts.
Because we believe that that is a space that we own and we can exploit for our economic and social development.
The new STEAM Academy being built at Dumby Holden in Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine, is not where it ends. STEAM is being infused in all aspects of public education, with the method modified to suit each environment. At the Alpha Primary School, a partnership with the private institution, STEM Builders Learning Hub, is expanding the aptitude and skills of children as young as age 6.
Little Einstein's program started in 2022, and it is out of the need to actually reach the students where they are at their different levels, and also to ensure that we start early. So this program primarily is for early childhood education institutions and for primary schools. So the program actually takes place once a week or twice, depending on the need. And we actually take the students through hands-on learning by them creating different things like robots, flashlights. So they're learning the theory, but they're also creating. Hi, I'm Cavell Hilton, CEO and founder of STEM Builders Learning Hub. We connect students to quality science, technology, engineering, and mathematics tutors, as well as resources, including our STEM activity box or science kits. STEM Builders Learning Hub started because we recognize the need to provide quality resources for students.
We have done helium balloons, an explosion, a flashlight, a glow-in-the-dark slime, and now we are building an air car.
I would love to expand the program to the upper school, especially as the children are moving out into secondary education. I believe they are now at that phase where they need to make a decision about their own professional development and also as innovators to create new jobs. So I am processing, putting it into the school. We just need to consider some of the resources we would need in order to do so.
One of the major benefits of enrolling children in STEAM education is the fact that it awards them the skills associated with the 4 C's of what is needed to excel in this 21st century: critical thinking, communication, creativity, and collaboration.
STEAM education is very inclusive because it encourages students to do hands-on activities, and the kind of question that students are asked to answer, they are not given the answer, so they would need to think about it. It allows them to experiment if they are wrong. It also gives them the time to go back, think about what they did wrong and how they are able to correct it.
All right, so interesting story. Some years ago, my son is now an adult, he shared with me that he thinks school dumbed him, in quotes. When I spoke with him, he shared that he think he could have done much better, but the limitation of school caused him to do what was required, not what he could have done based on his potential. I was a grade 6 teacher and so was enthused about higher order thinking skills, and then I realized that for STEM, it afforded children to reason at a new level and to think outside of the box.
As it relates to artificial intelligence, AI, I'm optimistic about the future as it relates to it. And knowing everything, you have negative and positive, but I think the approach is for us not to fear the technology because it's here whether we like it or not. And so my approach is to figure out how we can use it in our classroom in a safe way, and also for us to be able to not just be consumers of this technology, but that we try to also create things that will represent our perspective and our point of view from this side of the world, from a female, from a black person, from a Caribbean person.
Give our children a chance to be their greatest self. As Jamaicans, we see children by age and we say, no, I'm too young, you can't do that. However, what do we know? See a child as an empty slate, see a child as a blank computer. You input the data and look at what the computer will do. I believe that to an extent we have limited what they can, or we determine what they can do. Let us give them a chance to excel, let's give them the opportunity and watch them blossom, as I'm sure they will.
The goal of STEAM education is to foster the true innovation that comes with combining the mind of a scientist or technologist with that of an artist or designer and letting it work together for the greater good. So, how prepared are you in getting your child ready for STEAM education? It's already here. Get with the times and help put your child on the map with the skills of tomorrow.
Are you passionate about shaping the future of governance in Jamaica? Do you want to be part of a historic move to define the roles, responsibilities, and standards of conduct for our parliamentarians? The Joint Select Committee of Parliament, considering job descriptions, codes of conduct, and performance standards for parliamentarians, is having a series of town hall meetings to get your insights on the roles, conduct, and expectations of your elected representatives. Join the virtual town hall on the Zoom platform on November 30, 2023 at 6 p.m. You will have the opportunity to share your opinions, engage with members of the committee, and make your voice heard. Visit www.japarliament.gov.jm for further details. Let's work together to build a stronger Jamaica.
Skip and play. Come, let me take you down to the past.
Television is the quickest form of recognition in the world. That quote, courtesy of the late Lucille Ball. Be sure to use it to your advantage, to gain knowledge, and to make your life easier. But remember that with everything in this life, there are limits. This is where we leave you for today, but of course, we'll be back tomorrow. Remember, you may visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to catch up on this and so much more. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.